Recently, I had heard a rumor that Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to play Doctor Doom in the next two Avengers movies. I thought there was zero chance. Like, that was just a crazy rumor. Surely they weren't going to recycle an actor to play a huge pivotal role. I find it kind of odd that we're getting this news, considering the fact that Marvel has some heavy hitters in the lineup that are kind of helping it make a comeback, especially with the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, and it seems like they have other movies coming up that could be a huge success for them. So why are they bringing back Robert Downey Jr. when they were somewhat back on track? Because to me, I figured they would bring back Robert Downey Jr. to play Iron Man just so they could get fans back, or the general audience back, because Marvel has been in a decline. So while I'm mixed on this decision, I am willing to see how it plays out, and I'm also slightly hesitant about it. First off, my hesitation stems from the fact that we've seen this actor on screen for over 10 years now, and his goodbye hit a lot of fans in a very sentimental way. Obviously, they were gonna bring him back as Tony Stark at some point with this whole multiverse nonsense, but to bring him back as such an important role, especially as a character that people have been wanting to see, played by a different actor, it feels a little odd to me. For one thing, I don't know if it was done out of desperation or not, but I can see how everybody would feel that way. I even wonder if it was desperate myself. For me, while they're having him play a new character, one that I've been excited to see on screen, I have trouble getting excited for a face that we've already come accustomed to. I just hate that the multiverse allows these sort of things to happen where they can bring back actors. I have trouble getting excited for anyone to come back now because it's just expected at this point. I know a lot of people were seriously hoping for someone else to take on the role, and I don't really see any point in bringing in a new Doom after the next two Avengers movies. Now with all that said, here's why I'm not entirely opposed to the idea. For one thing, if they're going to set up a villain and hero relationship between two actors, I can honestly see Pedro Pascal and Robert Downey Jr. pulling that off. They both excel at playing the smartest person in the room, so I think their on-screen rivalry could be really interesting. I think it would also be kind of poetic to see the face of the man that saved the universe become the one that's meant to destroy it. There could be some really interesting scenes with him and our new Avengers, including Spider-Man. With Peter becoming more of an independent Spider-Man, I think it would be interesting to see him face off against his old mentor. Of course, I would prefer that we get Victor Von Doom over an evil Tony Stark. But I will admit that an evil Tony Stark would be interesting because he would be an insane threat. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about Victor Von Doom because that's a part of the comics I need to catch up on. But I would still prefer that we get a new character with a different origin over an evil Tony Stark. I do prefer that he come back as a villain such as Doom rather than a cheap cameo as Tony Stark, because at least we're still getting something that is somewhat new. I'm still very mixed on the idea if I'm being honest. Even with the pros and cons of it all, I think the cons kind of outweigh the pros at the moment. On one hand, you have one of the greatest actors out there playing a beloved villain, but on the other, you're using a face that everyone has already come accustomed to with Iron Man. But hopefully Robert Downey Jr. surprises us. We've seen him play a lot of interesting roles in the past. Sherlock Holmes and Oppenheimer are two of my favorite performances from him, so I think he could really crush this role if he does it right. I was kind of wondering if Marvel's been trying to bring him back for a while, and this was the only way he'd come back. And that makes sense. Maybe he didn't want to come back and play Iron Man. He wanted to do something completely new so he could change things up. I really hope it works out because I want to enjoy Marvel. I just can't help but feel that there's a slight hint of desperation in this. I think this is one of those instances where we'll really have to wait and see how it turns out. For all we know, whenever the first trailer comes out for Avengers Doomsday, our minds might be blown. What are your thoughts on bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom Little? Do you think this was a good idea, or is it just lazy casting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So, yeah.
Bye.